Hey guys, long time no talk. Yeah, it's been a little bit of a whirlwind coming back to America, but I've been working on a lot of projects and hopefully, uh, when you are working on projects at first, it's so overwhelming. You do not know where to start. And this is essentially uh, projects for Ginger Love Cafe, which is my food truck. So it's 6 years old. I started it in 2020, 2019. 2020 officially started as a Filipino street food vendor. I'm outdoors. If you can see, I'm actually in my camper right now. So I'll tell you more about that. But so 6 years old. I started it by myself in a tent somewhere in East Hampton, Massachusetts, and it basically just grew from there. It grew because I believe that there was a real need for Filipino food in my community, diversity of flavors, and the food was really good, so it's well received. And I'm not a cook by any means. The most that I cooked for a big group of people is when maybe 10, 15 years ago, when my friends and I would come back from a bar and they all come back to my apartment and I cook them rice and eggs. So that was the extent of my culinary expertise. But I work in the food service industry for 20 years. I moved here in the US in 2020. Oh no, I wish 2021. 2002. And I moved in the western area of Massachusetts and instantly connected with the locals, a lot of people here. And the vibe felt really more like my vibe. It's something that I was looking for in the Philippines when I was living there. That Philippines has a lot of places now that has the same vibe as this, but back in the day when I was living in the Philippines, I was born and raised in Davao. It was a very slow living, but it's a city living, but it's not like tall building cities. It's this little towns, but Davao is a city, and it has everything that you need. Not overwhelming, not overly populated. Has a lot of natural resources. In the Philippines, it's the ocean. Here, it's the woods. I don't know if you can see it, but that's where I park. And moved here and found a lot of friends here. Really partied it up in my 30s. I came here when I was 25. And and when I hit my 40th birthday, I started kind of questioning where my path is heading. And that was kind of during the pandemic. I've had businesses and working as a server at the same time, but like nothing really was working. So I stopped that business. It was hard because it felt like a failure. And but I knew in my heart that I was ready to move on from what I was doing. And I started a you can't really say food truck because I didn't have a food truck. I had a dingy tent with a dingy sign, and I was cooking in camper stoves and camper grills, and but I was serving Filipino food. I made everything from scratch. I made everything by hand, by myself. And at that time, I didn't really think it was going to be a full-fledged business. I thought it was going to just be doing for fun because I love going to the music festivals when I've discovered it. And I basically just thought that was the funnest part of America is the music festivals. So I did that. And during the pandemic, there wasn't any food trucks that were out and about to sell. They were scared. I was scared, but I figure that if we are just going to be very, very careful and it's outside, then I think we are going to be okay. So we did all of the precautionary measures that we were supposed to do, like put the glass in front of you, put masks on, like really watch for every cross contamination there is, and trying to stay away from, keep a good distance from your customers. And before you know it, couple weeks, 3 weeks later, I was afraid at first actually to serve Filipino food, because I was like, no one knows what Filipino food is. They wouldn't like it, they wouldn't know. But I tested it beforehand at a brewery and just serving it on sliders. And the protein that sold the most were the Filipino food flavors and the Filipino flavors. And so I was like, okay, maybe there is a market for it. So this opportunity came and I just jumped on it, and I basically just did it, and I had a blast. And I was like, okay, I think this is it. Like, I'm just gonna go ahead and go for it. So 6 years later, now I have a couple of buses, school buses, that I converted into a storage transport for my food concession business. I have a food trailer that is also doing a lot of local shows around the Western Massachusetts area. I have my very own commissary kitchen, and what else? I moved into I don't know if you can see it, a very old camper. And because I've always wanted to have that kind of lifestyle where you're not like just in one place and you can be in different places every single time. I must have been a gypsy in my life, so that's probably why I am so comfortable with this style of living. And I live on the road. I basically kind of live and breathe the traveling aspect. I work and travel. Traveling is part of my work, aside from serving food, and also traveling is part of my living too. And just recently I have realized that I want to spend more time in the Philippines. So I actually have been going home every year in the winter time, which is really great because this job allows me to do that, because my peak season ends in November. And just recently, actually, we've developed a pop-up service. I've partnered up with my friend Chris, who owns Jake's Northampton, and it's a breakfast place, and it's closed from 3 o'clock until it opened 8 o'clock the next day. So we've taken advantage of the space and turned it into a Ginger Love Cafe pop-up dinner service, and that will hopefully turn into a year-round stint. But anyways, so I've realized that I want to go home and be with my family in the winter time. And the last time I went home, it really defied that's what I wanted to do. And so I am in the process of looking to buy backpackers resort in the Philippines, and wanting to develop that kind of business model. I'm looking at Palawan. I haven't been to Siargao, I haven't been to Boracay, but that concept really ignites me, and like I feel like I want to do that until I can't anymore. So I am planning to spend time in the Philippines half the time. Hopefully everything turns out good, because right now we're having that war, and that might delay me from doing what I would like to do. But it's really good to have a feeling of you can see a clear path ahead of you, so that you're able to make better decisions as you go along. And yeah, and just crafting my life really. And the reason why I named this channel Life Began at 40, because at 40 it's kind of like, before 40, it's, there's this gray cloud that was covering all over me, and I'm just kind of like functioning within that internal life that you feel that's really small. And then when I turned 40, it feels like this gray cloud is slowly like opening up, and it's, your path is starting to get clearer, and so your world becomes a lot bigger, and your, everything just kind of expanded. So that's why I named this. And it's really meant for my family, it's really meant for my friends to see where I am, because the social media really is like such a short version of you, and it's like not as, I don't know, I like telling the stories. I like telling full stories rather than half stories, I mean. But anyway, so this is why I'm here. And it's not to be famous or anything like that. And anybody who would want to come and see the channel, I hope you enjoy.